So how does the scoring work? So the very first time we interact with the contestants is the interviews. We want you to be likable and lovable, but you can tell if somebody just has attitude versus confidence. Owning who you are, not at the expense of stepping over other people.
Grabe, medyo mabigat pala talaga ang pagsubok dito sa preliminary competition dahil dito nakikilatisin ng mga judges kung sino yung mga deserving na candidate na makakapasok sa top 20 posible, no? And dito nila makikilatis kung sino yung authentic, sino yung peke, at sino talaga yung pasaway. Kaya panoorin natin yung isang sinabi ng judge noong 2018 kung paano nila pipiliin ang deserving na candidate.
So how does the scoring work? Let me tell you how it works. It's an accumulation of everyone's performance during each of the events. So the very first time we interact with the contestants is the interviews. The interviews are incredibly important. As I said, we receive a book that has everyone's bios and interests and key questions that they answer about their causes, their studies, you name it. So that way when we ask them questions, they're not just random, they're specific to their backgrounds. And let me tell you, ladies, that interview is critical. That is the first impression, and that is the first time each of the judges get to start scoring and kind of selecting their top 15, their top 20 out of the big group. Also, a big tip for the interviews is please, please, please do not sound like a rehearsed script. We could tell when a contestant was just sounding so perfect that it was way too perfect, way too rehearsed, and that just loses its power and authenticity. So resist the temptation to just kind of recite the perfect words and the perfect answer, because we can tell, and that actually is a bit of a turnoff. Be you, be authentic, be funny if you're funny. I'll never forget in our 2018 pageant, Miss Costa Rica was so funny. I mean, she had these very clever, quick comments that just made us laugh naturally, and she became very memorable to us. Actually, she made it to the top 15 later on in the final gala. But anyhow, so the interview is the first set of scoring that starts shortlisting who makes it to our tops. We never compare with each other. This goes, like I said, back to the auditors every day. And then during the preliminary competition, we have these iPads. They're super easy to use and so cool that every time the contestants are on the stage, we are ranking them, and at the end of each of the events inside the event, so whether it was swimsuit or questions or gown, we get to rank our tops. In literally, you're like grabbing them up and down in a list, kind of like how you do on your iPhone when you like move things around. Anyway, so that each of us judges, 7 of us at that time, make those rankings, and only the auditors know how the cumulative results of the rankings look on their end. Because then that's what calls for the finals, that for the gala, because that was preliminary, for the gala, then we have who the top 15 are, and then the short list of top 5 or top 3 actually happens based on their performance that night. So every moment counts, and every time they're on stage, we're ranking. So you have an opportunity to make an impression every time you're on. So ladies, when you're in front of judges, assume that you're being scored, and every interaction accumulates. So please, eye contact when you're on stage. There were times that women were walking in front of us and they will just be looking fabulous but forgot we were there. So when you walk, even if you're looking that way, keep looking at the judges. That makes a difference. And the other thing is, we want you to be likable and lovable. And a good person, I know that sounds kind of basic to say, we want everyone to be great people, but you can tell if somebody just has attitude versus confidence. We also know if somebody just wants to be sassy at any, expense, or if you really want to be, confident and again, beautiful, owning who you are, not at the expense of stepping over other people. That's not what you do. And by the way, we the judges also don't pay attention to the stuff that is said on social media.
At ito naman yung kanyang tips para sa mga pageant fans or even mga pageant vloggers. So, pakinggan natin.
Lily Gilvaletta here. I wanted to send this quick message to all of you pageant fans who are following the Miss Universe events. Yes, the candidates have arrived in El Salvador and there is so much excitement. And I just wanted to give you some insights and tips since I was a judge during the 2018 pageant. Gosh, it feels like forever ago. That was when we crowned the beautiful Catriona Gray from the Philippines, and we were in Bangkok for the event. And maybe some things you may not know, because having been a judge, I got to see the process firsthand. First of all, the judges never, ever, ever interact with the candidates unless it's during an official interview or when we're judging for the preliminary and the final galas. So there's always a speculation of whether we know them or not. Actually, before I landed in Bangkok, I received an electronic and physical book of all the 93 candidates. And we actually reviewed their backgrounds, their causes, their education, their backstories. So when we got to the interviews, every one of us judges already knew exactly who everyone was. We had made our notes and had very specific questions that were directed to their backgrounds and what they loved and what they were interested about. So the interview, ladies, and those of you that are super fans, is super, super important. Hi friends, Lily Gilvaletta here. I wanted to send...
Ito na ang ating reaction, and basing sa aking pagkakaintindi, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, yung sinasabi ni Madam Judge na cumulative is when a candidate has been already selected as part of the top 20 semifinalists. So dito talaga sila magpapaligsahan sa rampa, sa swimsuit, sa gown, doon sa preliminary or sa interview questions, and then sa final questions. But before ka makapasok sa top 20, dapat magbigay ka talaga ng mabigat na impression para sa judges during the preliminary interview. And kung hindi ako nagkakamali dito, mas malaki kasi yung percentage of criteria sa preliminary interview kaysa sa gown and doon sa swimsuit competition. It's like 60% ata, 50 or 60% doon sa preliminary interview, and then 20% sa gown, 20% sa swimsuit. But hindi ko alam kung ganun pa rin ngayong edition, pwedeng bumaba, pwedeng tumaas pa. I'm not sure, but isa lang ang certain ko diyan. Dapat magbigay ka ng magandang impression sa judge. And alam na ng mga judge kung authentic yung pag-uugali, lalo na yung advocacy. Malalaman nila kung peke yung ginawa mong advocacy, yung tinatawag nilang baka fraud advocacy. Kumbaga, ginawa mo lang yung advocacy for the sake of joining pageant. Yung hindi talaga empowering. So, ang hinahanap talaga nila is yung legit na relatable talaga sa backstory yung mga advocacies na sumasali. So, for example, yung autism awareness ni Michelle D, kasi nga, di ba, true to life story, meron siyang kapatid na dalawang kuya or nakababatang kapatid na diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. So, in this case talaga, kung pupuntahan mo yung Miss Universe app tsaka yung mga delegates, basahin nyo yung mga profile nila. Malalaman nyo kung sino yung malalim ang advocacy at sino yung medyo lang yung advocacy. Promise. Para makarelate kayo sa sinasabi ko ngayon. And yes, kung hindi ka nakabigay na magandang impression sa preliminary interview, then medyo mas bababa yung chance mo na makapasok sa top 20. Kasi kahit na ginalingan mo sa rampa, sa swimsuit or sa gown kung sumemplang ka naman sa preliminary interview by giving inauthentic advocacy or hindi ka nakapag-explain ng maayos sa defense mo, then ayun. Kaya yun yung pagkakaintindi ko. And you can correct me if I'm wrong dito sa part na to. Sa panahon ni Donald Trump, hindi pa ganong kalaki yung mga advocacy, yung preliminary interview kasi syempre may issue about si Donald Trump kaya mas maganda sa kanya yung beauty and body. Kaya nga kapag magaling ka talaga gumampa and magaling kang chumarming, yung mga ganon klase, pasok na pasok ka. But now, gagamitin na ang brain tsaka backstory talaga para to determine kung empowering ka talaga or influential ka talaga na beauty queen. Okay, so that's it guys. Thank you for watching. I hope na may natutunan kayo dito sa video, especially about sa criteria for judging para may idea kayo. And I'm not sure kung may mga updates regarding the percentage of criterias. Tama ba yung term ko? Basta, ganun yon. So, let us continue to vote for Michelle D para safe siyang makapasok sa semifinals, such as downloading yung Miss Universe app kasi dun kayo makakapag-vote and itry nyo basahin yung mga advocacies ng mga candidates before or after voting para makita nyo kung sino yung deserving at hindi. O, di ba? And sana panoorin nyo pa rin ako even after this pageant. Okay? So, magpa-pageant vlog pa rin naman ako every after season. Okay? So, that's it guys. Thank you and have a nice day.